understand what an encouragement this side is to the family. So thank you. Would you pray with me? Lord, there's an old hymn, standing in the need of prayer. So that's where we are. We are standing in the need of prayer this morning. And I wondered about that old song. I'm not sure it means that we need to be praying. Of course, we all have been a lot, but I think it means we need to hear from you. That's what it means. We're standing in the need of prayer. And we need to hear from you. We don't know the way. So we need you to show us. Lord, I guess the second thing we need is the ability to number our days so that we may present to you a heart of wisdom. It's kind of funny how we get caught flat-footed by death every time. So teach us to number our days, to consider them precious, valuable, to redeem our time, and to do it always for your glory. Personally, Lord, I think Elvin did a good job of that. He didn't say a lot about it, he just did it. So help us to learn from him. I don't believe I ever saw his faith crack. Even in the most difficult of times. So help us to learn from him, so that we too may present to you a heart of wisdom on that day. And Lord, think about on that day, that means there is going to be a day. It's going to be glorious. Christ conquered sin and death and the grave, and that means we will too. And we'll see him again. Lord, it occurred to me as I looked at all these signs, there won't be any social distancing. It will just be wonderful, sweet, deep reunion. Pray for Charlotte, Mike, and Philip as they come. Just fill them with the mind of Christ. Lord, bless this family, these friends, and these acquaintances. And enable us in everything we say and do today to be honorable to Elvin and his memory, to glorify Jesus Christ in all we do. And of course, we ask this prayer in that glorious name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, friends and family, for being here today. It means so much to the family for you to be present. You know, the Lord knew that we needed his presence, and so he came in the form of a man to be present. So simply your presence today is a ministry. I hope that you'll recognize that in so many aspects and difficulties of life, your presence to people. We often ask, what can I say? Sometimes we can't say anything, but we can be there. Thank you. Thank you for being there with the family the last several days, today, and in the coming days. We're here today to celebrate the life of Elvin Lynn Bowman. We can use a number of words, trying to be like him and be cautious on our words. We can use a few words. Elvin was a friend. He was a great friend to many. Elvin was a family man. It's obvious. He was a father of the best degree. Yet he was faithful. Elvin was fun. He was quiet at times, but he was fun. And he could be funny. as well. He would probably spur off of or come off of some of the friends that he had that were more talkative. I'm not going to look at any or point. But he would put a word or so in sometimes. He was funny. And also, he was a fisherman. He enjoyed fishing. As a matter of fact, since the middle of March, Elvin and I have been fishing 4 times together. I remember the first time we went, it was mid to late March, and we were at Hordes Creek Lake, west of Coleman, and we were fishing, and we had gotten there fairly early in the morning, and by 11 or 11:30, I hadn't caught a fish. Elvin had caught 3, and I felt like I was in trouble. That's just how I am in my fishing. And so I changed baits a few times, and I started catching some, and I caught up with him. And Elvin was often very methodical, but all of a sudden I heard a lot of jostling going on. I said, "Elvin, what are you doing?" He said, "You caught up with me. I got to get another bait." So he did. He said, "I have one just about like that." And so we ended up pretty close that day in our fishing together. There were other times I saw Elvin in those qualities. When we were moving here, Elvin and 3 other men came and brought their trailers and pickups and helped move some of my stuff, our stuff. Mostly they came to help me with my shop and barn. And Elvin let me use his trailer for about 3 or 4 months while my shop and barn that I have now was being built. And then of course when it was done, he came and helped unload that stuff again. Elvin could often be seen around this campus, but he didn't do what he did to be seen. He did it to serve. Last year, he was the chairman of deacons during 2019 here at the church. And Elvin didn't have that as a position to hold. Elvin did that as a posture to have. He did it as a servant. As a matter of fact, the first several meetings, and he told me even that quietly before, this is not my cup of tea, being in front and sharing and leading. But he did that as a servant. Several times since Pat and I have lived here, I wanted my air conditioner checked, and one time I thought there was an issue, and so I called Elvin, and he came and took care of the situation and took care of the bill. He didn't charge me anything, and he did that several times. And when some of the other air conditioning contractors that we use here at the church couldn't get here at a certain time, Elvin would come and wouldn't charge us anything because he was a servant. Elvin could be found here on Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, and other opportunities. Elvin was in my Tuesday morning Bible study that I started about 2 years ago, or we started, some of our men, and we have about a dozen men that come, and Elvin positioned himself, once again postured himself, to get here a little early so he could make the coffee for the rest of us. Again, to serve. And there were times, knowing what he had been through, because about 2 weeks before I came on as pastor, about 2 weeks, or 3 or 4 weeks before that, I had come in view of a call. That's pastor language for you trying out. I knew that his daughter, Christy, was sick, and she passed away about 2 weeks after that day, about 2 weeks before I came. And I knew that Elvin had gone through quite a few difficulties in life. And so at times in the Bible study, I'll be a little bit bold and not make someone, but I'll ask someone if they would speak to a particular topic and subject. And we were on subjects sometimes as faithfulness or perseverance. I would ask him if he would speak. And he would. Well. Because he had been through so many things and yet had such faith. When I think of Elvin, I think of Psalm 1. We don't know who wrote it. It's called an anonymous psalm, but in Psalm 1 we find the blessed man. The word means happiness, or more than that, means joy. That's one of the things Elvin had. He had joy. He chose joy in spite of life, in spite of stuff. He chose joy. That psalm, Psalm 1, some of you are familiar with that. It says, "Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, walk in the counsel of the wicked, stand in the way of the sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he delights in the law of the Lord day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season. His leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers. Not so the wicked. They are like the chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, or sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction." That psalm speaks about three things I'll briefly mention. It's a man that has discretion. Elvin had discretion. He would not say what probably some of us think, or what even he was thinking. He had discretion. He held his tongue and waited, and sometimes he stayed quiet. What an honorable trait. He had discretion. He also had direction. He knew, even though it was hard, to keep trusting in the Lord, to keep going to God's Word, and that's what he did. He had direction. And as a result of that, he had depth in his life. He positioned himself around great people, and he had depth. He planted his life in the streams of living water, and even though the seasons that he had, they yielded fruit. And his leaf didn't wither. I'm so grateful for that. And this psalm also, besides discretion, direction, and depth, it speaks in a sense about sometimes we get in the wrong chair. It says there that blessed is the man who does not walk, does not stand, does not sit in the wrong seats. John Maxwell is a leadership guru, a pastor, speaker, writer. And he says there are several seats, several chairs sometimes we place ourselves in. Elvin had his favorite chair. As a matter of fact, he went to heaven through that favorite chair. Sometimes we're in the seat of compromise. We might say we have a faith, but we also live in part of the world. Elvin didn't sit in the seat of compromise, in the chair of compromise. Sometimes we sit in the seat of conflict. Those that know about the Lord, but they don't even trust Him. So they're in conflict with the things of God. That wasn't Elvin. He wasn't in that chair. Elvin was in the chair of commitment. He stayed the course. He stayed faithful. And he was also in the chair of character. Not so much he was a character, even though he could be, but he had character. I'm so grateful that God allowed me these 2.5 years to be his pastor, to be his fellow believer, to be in a Bible study with him, and to be his friend. He was faithful. He was a servant, and he chose joy. And so Patty, Molly, Randy, Joan, and you have a great example before you. The scripture says in Psalm 23 that he will walk with us through the valley of the shadow of death. We have a great example in Elvin. He walked through. He realized that you didn't have to stay there. You could walk through. Why? Because he was faithful. He was a servant. And he chose joy. And so I pray for you and all the family that you'll be faithful because God will. You'll be a servant because He came to serve. And you'll choose joy. Thank you.
You know, one of the things that makes a day like today so difficult is the relationships that we have. And all of us here were touched by Elvin in one way or the other. And one thing that was neat to see even last night is all the different walks of life and places and people that Elvin had contact with, whether it was here from the church, whether it was his family, whether it was through business, or whether it was through just growing up in Abilene. So many people were impacted by him, and we wanted to take just a moment to give some of his friends a chance to share about Elvin. And I don't know if maybe this is a way that Elvin has kind of given it to you a little bit to get you to come up here and do this, because I know it's not easy, but I know it'll be a blessing. So Terry and Clyde and Mark, if you would come up, and they're going to share appropriate stories, I would assume. We would be lost in that.
I want to first say thank you for everyone that's here this morning and for the unbelievable number of people that came through this door last night to greet Patty and his family. I've been to a lot of funerals, unfortunately, and a lot of you don't see that. And it's just a great testament for this man and his family. Thank you again for being here. I've known Elvin for probably 30 years or so. But I never really knew Elvin until the last 6 or 7 years. And Melanie and I got the opportunity to get to be close friends with Elvin and Patty and their family. And I knew the girls from back whenever they were in high school, and our boys were around the same age. Went to church together, but I never really knew them. But like I say, the last 6 or 7 years, we started going out to eat together. We started going to movies together. We started playing together. We ran around together. We were blessed to be able to travel all over the world together. And you don't do that with just an acquaintance. You do that with a true friend. And that's the way I feel that Elvin and Patty were definitely true friends of ours and people that we enjoyed spending those kind of times with. And Brother Mike's already kind of stole the thunder, and these guys behind me are going to say the same thing. But he was a man of integrity. He was a man of very few words. It was hard to get to know at times because he wasn't one to start a conversation. He wasn't one to end the conversation. As most of y'all know, I don't have a problem having a conversation. And I will shut up. But anyway, I just want you to know that, and you already know that he was a great man. And he was behind the scenes most all the time. He didn't want anyone to know or give him accolades for what he did. Patty and him were probably the very first people that ever went to the hospital to visit whoever was a member of this church. And someone that maybe you worked with or a friend, they were there. They were one of the first ones to ever take food to those families. They would get there early at the hospital to be able to have prayer with those people before they had surgery, procedure, or whatever, and then would sit for hours with the family members. And you don't find too many people who take time out of their life. He's like most all of us. He's a busy man. He still had a business. He still had a place to take care of, but he put other people ahead of him, and him and Patty both had that. I can't forget you. Had that trait. But can't say enough good about Elvin. And he's in heaven. He's with the family that left before him, and he was just a great man. We're going to miss him.
When you hear people talk about your friend, everybody has the same opinion of Elvin. I've had 2 phone calls from businessmen in town that tell me the same thing. I've been thinking about what I would say. And of us spoke. Mike said the same thing, I think. Clyde said the same thing, I think. This is real. This is who he was. And again, your presence today is honoring Elvin. Thank you. It's been a privilege of mine and several here to be friends with Elvin. I've been friends with Elvin for over 30 years. And during those years, we've done business together. We've served in this church together. He's gone out on Texas Baptist Men disaster relief call-outs with us. We've been blessed to travel the world and see God's creations. These flowers are beautiful. Everywhere we go, Patty says, Elvin, take a picture of these flowers. These are beautiful, Patty. We have gone out to eat many times. Too many times. We've had fun together. We've rode four-wheelers and did things we should not have done. We've grieved together. We've cried together. You know, I watched Elvin lose his first wife, Brenda, to cancer. I watched Elvin lose his youngest daughter, Christine. I saw him stand by Randy, strong. I learned a lot from Elvin in those days. You know, Elvin was a man that trusted in God no matter what was happening. That's special. And I tell you all this to say that I know who Elvin really was, what kind of man he was. And so I've listed a few things that I've thought about. He worked hard. He was a really hard worker. Did anything he did. He was very dependable. He was always available. This came out earlier with his joy, but he was so positive. A positive man. Whether he really felt it or not, he came across positive. He was an encourager in bad times. He was pleasant. He was fun. He was gentle. He was kind. He was trustworthy. He was loyal to his family and to his friends. In a big way, he was a man of integrity. He was a loving man. Patty, he loved you dearly. He loved all the kids, the family, and all those grandkids. That's all he talked about. He believed in the truth. He knew truth was. Elvin had a very strong faith in God. He was a godly man. He lived a godly life. Even through times of sorrow in life, he stood strong. I would say that Elvin lived a life that's an example to all of us to live our life. People in this room have known Elvin. They know who he is. They know, and I'm sure you agree with what I'm saying, the type man he is. Patty, family, grandkids, whether you called him honey, or dad, or pawpaw, he loved y'all to the moon and back. Elvin was our good friend and a lot of y'all's. We're all gonna miss him. But think about this. Elvin believed in the hope of eternity in heaven with his Lord and Savior. That's been fulfilled. I can just see Elvin. He is standing there singing and praising his Lord and Savior today. We love him and we'll miss him. Family, we love him.
You know, the testimony that we saw last night where those people falling out that door, out that building for an hour, the crowd that we got today, that was a lot of testimony to his life. There's three things that Elvin and I really had in common. We had two precious daughters. We had two sisters. Angie and Joan. We were also the middle boy in that family, so we were, of course, mistreated. But the biggest thing we had is that neither one of us liked to get up and speak in front of crowds. So I'm on Xanax today. So this is tough. I'm doing this for Elvin and Daddy. You know, a person once told me that through life, we meet a lot of people, have a lot of relationships, a lot of acquaintances, but we only have a few friends. He was one of those friends. You know, I haven't known Elvin as long as a lot of you guys have that's in this room, but when Christy was going through her chemo, we really bonded. Prayed and cried a lot. The last few months of her life was tough. I'd already seen a broken man from your mom, but I was fixing to see one get broke again. And you've heard Clyde, Brother Mike, Terry, so many people talk about his godly qualities. He's like Job, any man I've ever known. But Elvin's roots were so deeply planted in Jesus that he persevered. His faith overcame his hardships. And he always glorified God. Now, I'm going to lighten things up a little bit. Elvin had this infectious laugh and smile. As you watched those movies, screen going across, you saw he was smiling about every one of them, except for a couple of them. And I'll tell you about one of them here in a minute, but the more we can make Elvin laugh, the more he made us laugh. I mean, watching him fight a trolling motor one day that really just had a bad battery, getting slapped 2 times with a hook that day on his face, we laughed. We're traveling 2,000 miles across Canada with 4 couples and their luggage packed inside of a little Suburban. He wasn't laughing that day very much. But as I was thinking about that, you know, poor Elvin had those little knees that he had just got replaced. And this guy here had claustrophobic, so he sat in the front seat. And this guy here had to drive. So me and old poor Elvin had to sit in the back seat. We were the tallest ones, by the way. But he'd always laugh. He'd make us laugh. Probably one of the biggest stories that I had is one time we were in Branson, Missouri, and we went to this theater and it was packed. The girls had to sit about 20 seats packed on the other side of us, and we were up front. And Elvin and I, of course, as usual, wasn't listening, and the speaker gets up and asks for the service people to stand up so they could recognize him. And so we were thinking service people, you know, AC service, auto parts. And he's still there. Not thinking anything about it. I kind of looked over at Elvin and I said, this guy's got a Vietnam hat on. And we looked down at our wives, and man, they were like, we didn't know y'all. What branch of service did y'all? Of course, sitting up front, we couldn't sit down. So I told Elvin, I said, Elvin, you need to sit down. And you know, he was a sharp man of words. He says, I'm not sitting down. So now when we go to different services, and memorial service, or the memorial day, and the pastor says, you know, you service guys stand up, and me and Elvin kind of look at each other. Shouldn't we? But right now, he's standing right in front of his Lord and Savior, praising Him up. And he's got that big smile. Makes us laugh sometimes. And as Mike said earlier today, we did attend a Bible study on Tuesday morning. We still do. And yesterday, we were sitting in that Bible study, and we were talking about all the good qualities of Elvin, and how when he spoke, it kind of grabbed all of us because he was a man of few words. And yesterday, a man brought up something that Elvin had challenged us to do a few months back. So today, I'm going to say it for Elvin. If he was here today, Patty, Molly, Lacey, Joan, Mindy, he would tell you that you're beautiful and I love you. So rest in peace, little buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Here in just a minute, Charlotte's going to come and sing a beautiful song. It's called Even If. And it was a song that we first heard and were introduced, probably midway through Christy's battle with cancer. And I know Patty and Elvin came down to Elgin and came to church, and Molly wanted to sing this song. And it's not going to be an easy one, but it's a beautiful song. And I just encourage you to really listen to the words. Listen to these words because they speak to what we're going through today. And they give us hope. And they remind us that God is still God. That God loves us. And He cares for us. And He's going to give us the hope and the strength to endure. So Charlotte, would you come sing?
They say sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. And right now I'm losing that. Stood on this stage time after time, reminding the broken it'll be alright. But right now, oh right now, I just can't. It's easy to see when there's nothing to bring me down. But what will I say when I'm held to the flame like I am right now? I know you're able and I know you can save through the fire with your mighty hand. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. They say it takes a little faith to move a mountain. Good thing, a little faith is all I have right now. God, when you choose to leave mountains unmovable,
because of the strength we receive from God. He's going to carry us through this. I want to invite Gary to come and share. I remember meeting Gary, I think the first time maybe at a Cooper football game, and going down at halftime and hanging out. They had a spot that they go down at halftime and get whatever it was, and I nearly felt like an outsider coming in, but they welcomed me in, and I remember those days, and Gary had a special place in Elvin's life, and I know Elvin had a special place in Gary's. I better stop before okay. But Gary, just come share just about your friend and your brother.
I should have gone first. The view is amazing from here. I wish you could see this. Because honestly, I thought I was his only friend. I thought we would show up today and Charlotte would sing and I'd speak to 3 or 4 people and we'd go to lunch. Appreciate you being here. Set in his ways, stern, sometimes a little grumpy, a touch unorganized, a little temperamental. But through all of these good traits that he had, he found a way to be stubborn and downright hard-headed. He was kind, he was gentle, he was caring, he was honest, and he was always loving. Elvin was a man that you wanted your son to grow up watching and learning from. Learning how to be a God-fearing man and what it was like to live life that way. And mine did for his entire life. And has for his entire life. And to that, I'm grateful to Elvin. 35 plus years. I say plus because I don't know how many. I've tried to teach him to catch fish for 35 I lost a brother. I lost a faith rock. We lost a man of God that worked hard every day to live out his faith. He worked hard, he played hard, and he prayed hard. So Lacey calls me on Thursday morning, and after she convinced me that what she was really telling me was true, and it took some convincing, I jumped in my truck, and I headed to his house. And you know why I did that? Because that's what Elvin would have done for Charlotte. So as I'm driving down the road, if you know me, I was crying, I was sobbing, I was sniffing, I was doing this, and all of a sudden, a huge, giant relief came over me. And I realized at that very moment that all those stories that I didn't want told forever. And then I started to laugh. and I laughed hard. Because I realized that I still had a whole bunch of stories that he didn't want told. One of those stories I finally confessed to my wife the other night in front of Elvin's family. And I did that because that same beautiful voice that she sings with is the same beautiful voice that yells at me at home. So I did it in the presence of the family so that I'd have some sort of buffer. And it was a story several years ago, and believe it or not, it involved a horse. And there was an electric fence involved. And on that day, once I got back in the saddle, we swore we would never tell our wives that story. He didn't tell one wife, but he told the other. And I confessed that to Charlotte the other night. Then I got to thinking that I had 3 stories, 3 incidences, 3 different situations that involved horses and have either left a mark that I still have, left me shaken in some way, or left me in the hospital. Elvin was there on all 3 occasions. The third one, he followed the ambulance to the scene. The family said, you better be careful, because he won't be around anymore to help out. I'm thinking it was him. He was the problem. Not me, not a horse. I'm good to go again. You and I have been in this setting way too many times. Many, many years, many, many funerals for loved ones. It's nothing new. It's not something that we enjoyed. It's just something, it was one of the chapters, several of the chapters in our book. It was at one of these times that we learned to say, I love you. And we said it to each other. And we would say it out loud. That's 3 things that are hard for me. And it was 3 things that were hard for us. But when he said it, I knew it. And when he said it about you, I knew it. Miles. Lots of miles. We've traveled miles in a truck, in a bass boat, on horseback. Lots of miles. There were times that we would solve every world problem known to man. Sometimes we would just make up new problems so we could just keep the conversation going. There were lots of miles of sharing our faith together. Our struggles, our triumphs. And then there are times that we could ride miles and miles and miles without saying a word, but speaking volumes about a friendship. My wife asked me several times, how do you do it? One of you will say, I'll meet you over there, and the other one say, all right, I'll see you in a bit. Neither one of you say where, none of you say what time, but you both walk up and show up at the same place at the same time. Last Thursday, we did the same thing again. day we'll meet again in front of this same big pearly gate. Me walking in, you'll come out to greet me. We'll share a big hug, and we'll say, I love you. Because Christ died for Elvin's sins and my sins, there won't be any world problems to deal with. So once again, we'll go 1,000 miles without saying a word. I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you, Gary. You know, days like this, we really don't know what to say or what to do. We kind of have traditions that we lean into and that we fall into to help us through, and they're helpful. And part of that is hearing about the man that Elvin was, and you know, there's different ways we go about doing that. We recognize the importance of laughter, the importance of being able to remember funny stories, and sometimes it kind of feels weird that you're laughing at a time like this, but that's part of the way that we grieve, because it's how we remember someone. And it's funny, I'm trying, as I'm putting together what I want to talk about, I just start thinking of different things, and laughter is important. And when Elvin and Patty thankfully were able to come and visit over Mother's Day weekend just a few weeks ago, and that'd been the first time that we'd seen them since Christmas, because of course we're all quarantined, and it was a great visit. They did show up unannounced with a four-wheeler as a gift for the girls. We were just thankful that it wasn't an unannounced horse that was showing up for the girls. But they came, and we had just a wonderful time. We were able to get some landscaping in the new house, and just working together and enjoying such a wonderful time. But we were sitting on the couch, and if you followed Elvin on Facebook and things, he could get tickled about things, and he would share things that were really funny and may or may not be fully appropriate, but would be really funny. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting on the couch with him, and he just kind of starts chuckling. And if you ever experienced this, it was very unique. So he could start chuckling, and then it's just a full-on laugh, right? And he just holds up his phone to me, and it's just this meme that's going on, and it's this guy that's on a pier, and fishing off of a pier in the ocean, and this guy has this big, huge, pole, and he's going to just heave that thing way out there, and I'll try not to make a meme myself, but he's just going like this, and he's about to do it, and he just goes straight off the pier and just falls into the ocean. And it really was funny, but it wasn't as funny as Elvin was making it out to me. And then I started laughing really at Elvin, but we just started laughing, and it was great, because about 15 minutes later, all of a sudden, he starts chuckling again, and I'm looking at him, and he goes, "That's just the funniest thing I've seen." And we just start laughing. And, that was a wonderful side of Elvin. That joy, the laughter that was there. I can remember the first Christmas I spent with the family. And Elvin gets his Christmas present. And the way that he would open that Christmas present, I still don't understand it. Like, he would try not to mess up the paper. He would just try to slice every little piece of tape, and then slowly, and it would take forever. And I think secretly, that was the joy of Christmas for him, is taking so long to open those presents. And Christmas is going to go a lot faster now. But there's just so many memories that make you laugh. And you know what? We need to be thinking about those. We need to be intentional about sharing those memories, because it does make us smile. It gives us a little bit of joy. Another way we try to deal with difficult times is choosing to be thankful. You know, there's lots of reasons I have to be thankful for Elvin. You know, especially now having daughters, you realize, you know, you don't want, frankly, you just don't want them to get married or ever go on a date, anything like that. I'm thankful for how Elvin raised his daughters to be godly women, to be strong women. I'm thankful he did that. I'm thankful. I remember it. He was standing right there, and I was standing right there, and he